Aw, damn, I thought I cleared my browser history. So this isn't about my browser history? Look, sometimes I just stumble onto a site that... Oh, like penguins don't! Yeah. About the alliance thing. It's dumb. And I'm still against it. Fuck those swell guys. If this little fast-pass bitch wants to come down here and say it to my face... Hey, I'm a citizen. I can have an opinion on the subject, can't I? Momentous. Ha! It wasn't that long ago that, what's-his-name, Prince Asschaps or whatever, sent an assassin that killed penguins that sat on this very council. Tux, you were even injured in that attack. We can't trust them. They subverted Major Tilden. They captured my fellow students. They almost killed me, and they attacked the She-King of Penguins. What do they have to do to be our enemy? Eat baby penguin chicks on live television? Hey, didn't I help found this country? Yeah. But don't be shocked if this whole thing backfires. Pain with Truth here, and welcome to another episode of Otaku Evolution. This week I'll be looking at the slice-of-life school comedy Azumanga Daioh. I don't review a lot of comedy anime on this show. In fact, the closest I think we've come to a full-on comedy this year was, what, TTS Airbats? Tenchi OVA 3? Nah, that last one's more of a tragedy. A tragedy that it was ever made. Point is, I don't cover much comedy, and it's pretty clear why. Anime comedies can be difficult to review. If they're funny, you run the risk of over-explaining the jokes by covering the show at all, and if they aren't, well, there's really only so many different ways you could say how you don't think something is funny. Comedy is tougher to cover than either drama or action. Can you really nitpick the plot of something that's just set out to make you smile and laugh? Then, of course, there's the language barrier. What's funny in Japanese may not even translate into English at all, and only occasionally does an English dub exclusive joke compensate, because the dub scripters might not be funny themselves. Sometimes I wonder why anime licensors even bother getting anime comedies. They run the risk of having to completely change the show's script, and at that point you're not even getting the show, you're getting some warped parody dub. Occasionally, though, you'll run into an anime that, while not perfectly hitting on American sensibilities, still proves to be pretty amusing. Azumanga Daioh is one of those, thanks in no small part to a valiant effort by ADV's Industrial Smoke and Mirrors studio, and some comedy that just worked in 2 languages anyway. I covered the Christmas episode of this last year, so regular viewers should be somewhat familiar with this, but I'll set things up for the uninitiated. Azumanga Daioh, based on a 4-Koma strip by Kiyohiko Izama, is a collection of happenings in the day-to-day lives of a group of high school girls. These include child prodigy Chiyo, studious straight man type Yomi, energetic and troublesome Tomo, quiet and athletic Sakaki, the spacey-eccentric Osaka, not her real name, Sakaki's rival, not according to Sakaki, Kagura, and Sakaki-obsessed Kaorin. Also featured are a few teachers, like the irresponsible Miss Yukari, level-headed gym teacher Nyamo, and, That's
enough already. We're leaving you behind.
So how'd it go?
Huh? How did what go?
Ding, 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 ding!
You're a little screwed up, Azumanga Daioh. Mr. Kimura is a lawsuit in waiting for that school.
Looks like everyone's here. So we can
I'll go straight to the gym and play some basketball. But it would be better if you were wet. Shoot, what to do?
Excuse me, Mr. Kimura.
I've got it. Let's take a little dip first, then we can go to the gym, okay?
Not a chance!
Anyway, I've basically summarized the entire setup and most of the plot of Azumanga Daioh. Because, as I said, it's slice of life. Which means it's delightfully tedious. If that's a thing. Maybe enjoyably uneventful? Entertainingly boring? It's just stuff happening.
Just talking? Well, what's the show about?
It's about nothing.
No story?
No, forget the story.
You gotta have a story.
Who says you gotta have a story?
Of course, there are some reoccurring elements, jokes and plot threads that are noteworthy. For instance, Sakaki trying to pet cats. Specifically one cat that she comes across regularly, but who always bites her. She always thinks she won't try it that time, or maybe she caught it on a bad day previously, but she always tries, and it always bites her. I mean, except that one time it headbutted her in the chest. That cat's a little douchebag. Sakaki loves cute things in general, but as she's so quiet and intimidatingly tall, people never suspect her obsession, believing she's mysteriously aloof. She lives for adorable animals, and even plans on being a veterinarian, but it's hard for others to picture her having that interest. Her love for cats leads her to have some very odd fantasies.
Well then, this is goodbye.
What? But why?
The truth is, in spite of my appearance, I am not a cat. I am Chiyo's father. Thank you for always being so good to my daughter.
Oh,
No, it was my pleasure.
You must go in search of a real cat, but it will be impossible for you the way you are now.
But wait, what should I do?
You cannot ask me. Goodbye.
Please wait!
Oh.
The show also features Chiyo's charmed life. She's not only a brilliant 10-year-old who's already smarter than her entire high school homeroom, possibly the teacher as well, but she's also incredibly wealthy, and her group of friends travel to her family's beach house in the summer, having various hijinks there. That the other high school students in their teens pale in comparison is part of the fun of her character, especially since Chiyo doesn't really seem to notice. She's in an odd place where she knows she's exceptional, but she's torn between wanting to be taken seriously as a high schooler and envying the simple joys her former grade school classmates get to indulge in. It's in this that we get some of the more heartwarming bits, though. Then there's Osaka-ness. She tends to have some odd thoughts and daydreams that lead her to make jokes that the others don't quite get, or statements that are more disturbing than folksy. She's a kind and caring soul, but she can be incredibly strange, and it's hard to imagine how she made it to high school. The girl definitely marches to the beat of her own drum.
Just lump all of it together and set up a cafe with like scary monsters of cute animals.
Okay, I don't even know what you're saying anymore.
And it's not a come from behind home run, you know. In other words, let me explain it.
I didn't ask.
Well, you see, there'll be lots of cats and dogs inside the cafe. And they'll all be dead.
Many of my favorite gags involve hyperactive Tomo, my favorite character in the series. She has very high energy, but not a lot of sense, and oftentimes ends up plowing through and over people in her bids for fun, with little regard for the consequences. She's not really a great student either, though she's actually really accomplished when she sets her mind to it. She would just rather use her brainpower to put one over on Yomi, her long-suffering BFF, who has to hear about her delusional self-image. Yomi, for her part, is pretty ordinary, though a little obsessed with her weight. Girl doesn't seem like she weighs any more than Tomo. I like the interplay between the two, and... I'm probably just imagining things. Maybe I've been watching too much Steven Universe. A lot of what you see in Tomo and Yomi's relationship is reflected in the relationship between teachers Yukari and Yamo. They both have known each other for a very long time, and they have a similar dynamic, where Yukari is the troublesome woman child and Yamo is the responsible adult. Usually.
To adult relationships, is it all like pervy and stuff?
Yeah, it's pervy and then some.
Ooh, like what?
Well, for example...
Well, I mean, nobody's perfect, right? And those girls had to learn eventually the facts of life, if they hadn't already. What better way to... Oh...
Where on earth did you learn about all that?
From you.
Oh, Miss Kurosawa. Good morning to you.
I really wanted to thank you for last night.
It was extremely educational. Miss Kurosawa, I admire you. I can't thank you enough, Coach. What?
Well, at least she isn't Mr. Kimura. Humbert would file a complaint about this guy. His lust for high school girls and that vacant, open-mouthed stare gives me the willies. I can't imagine the Japanese school system is quite this messed up in real life.
Mr. Kimura, why did you decide to become a high school teacher?
'Cause I like high school girls, that's why!
I love little girls, they make me feel so good. I love little girls, they make me feel so bad. When they're around, they make me feel like I'm the only guy in town. I love little girls, they make me feel so good.
But oddly enough, Kimura is a family man. Yeah, for ease. Honestly, I'd keep child monitors around the house if I were his wife. Who marries a guy like that? Maybe he's well endowed? I'd like to think she probably has some kind of illness. Or maybe he has money. Probably not on a teacher's salary. Dude's sketchy as fuck.
Are you having fun yet, Karen?
Only my friends can call me that!
Often suffering the brunt of Kimura's creepiness is Kyorin, Sakaki's secret, or maybe not so secret, admirer, whose appreciation for her goes way, way beyond admiration for a fellow classmate. But, as I said, she's the subject of Mr. Kimura's disturbing affections, which doesn't help when she gets him as a homeroom teacher in the 3rd year. But all is not dread for our sapphic schoolgirl, as she does occasionally get close with the giant of her dreams, so maybe her suffering is just payment for, you know what? No. Nobody deserves Kimura. He has restraining order written all over him. What were you thinking with this guy, Mr. Azuma? Okay, that's enough about that guy. The question is, with it just being episodic incidents of high school girls' lives, what's so appealing about Azumanga Daioh? I mean, it's not like it's some subversive commentary on Japanese education or Japanese youth. It's just a lot of silly things happening and occasionally something heartwarming. Well, the appeal is, that's enough. That's all Azumanga Daioh needs to be. It's a small comfort, a breath of fresh air, a comfy warm blanket, a cup of hot cocoa. It's a trifle. But I ended up being really moved by some of it the more I got to appreciate the eccentricities of its characters. For instance, in the episode that takes place just before the 3rd year of school, where Yukari and Yamo hang out, Kagura talks to Chiyo while out jogging, and Tomo spends her idle time with Yomi as she studies. There's no threat, no overhanging tension, nothing even particularly groundbreaking. It's just friends spending time with each other, their guards being down, being honest, ribbing each other, looking forward to the future. The truth is, Azumanga Daioh is appealing because we can see so much of ourselves in these characters, even if they're exaggerations, and when we see them in these moments, they let us appreciate our own, or long for them. Do all the jokes land? No. But most of the feelings do.
Oyster! Good idea!
That's okay.
No, Yummy's too heavy, so let's do Chiyo-chan! What? Hooray! 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 Hooray!
The end of the year can be stressful for a lot of people, especially around the holidays, and I wanted to share this series and my thoughts on it with you as a way of extending my wish that you remain robust of spirit. And sometimes that takes just as much comfort as conflict. Next time I'm not exactly sure what I'll get to, but I'll think of something. Until then, see ya!
Hello, everyone. How are you? Fine, thank you.
Oh my god!
I wish I were a bird.